Christian Leadership Partners. We provide leadership solutions for both profit and nonprofit organizations for coaching, teaching, and mentoring. I encourage you to go to our website, christianleadershippartners.org, and you'll find a list of tools there that can help your team to succeed, whether that's through the development of your leadership skills or styles or through the development of your subordinate leaders. But either way, we do encourage you to go to our website and see if we can't help you out. What we want to do is provide for you a free 30-day training program that takes a look at the kings of Israel. Why would we do that? Well, there's three reasons, really. The first reason is that we can see examples of both good leadership and bad leadership. We can take those good leaders and take their attributes and their skills and develop our skills to match those same attributes of those good kings. And if we do that, then we know that we can possibly get the same results that they got. The other thing is that we can also take a look at some of their bad skills and some of their bad traits and make sure that we don't do those things. If we can avoid those pitfalls, then we know that we can also be successful. The second thing that we know that we can do is what we want to do is take a look at the historical perspective of these kings. What we can see is that they did certain things and they got certain results. They planned, they prepped, and they executed, and they got certain results. And if we know that we follow the same planning and prep and execution phases and the things that they did, then we're probably going to get the same results. So I can avoid those pitfalls and those nasty things that happened in their lives, and I can probably achieve some of the same successes that they had as well. So we want to take a look at those things. And the third thing that we want to do is we want to take a look at servant leadership. And we're going to give you a 5-day bonus track that helps you to see the leadership of Jesus Christ. This bonus track is absolutely free as well, and you'll see that servant leadership is actually the most successful mode of leadership out of all the different leadership theories out there. We'll explain it in depth, but we'll also take a look at the leadership of Jesus Christ himself. So I encourage you to join us for those Bible studies as well. If you subscribe over here and if you make sure that you hit the notification bell after you subscribe, then you're going to get all notifications of every single one of these videos as we go along. So what we want to do then is we want to take a look at King Hezekiah today. We saw yesterday that the kings of Israel were all taken into captivity, that they were all taken out, that there's no longer a northern kingdom, and Hezekiah is here and he reigns for 27 years. So King Hezekiah does a really good job, and in fact, he's set apart as one of the few kings that was actually better than King David. Check this out. This is 2 Kings 18, 1 and 3. It says, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, began to rule over Judah in the 3rd year of King Hoshea reign in Israel. He did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, just as his ancestor David had done. Hezekiah had a plan to go out and to do the good things that he was supposed to be doing. His father Ahaz was also a good king, but Hezekiah did an even better job. And what did he do to do that? Well, he went out and he got rid of all the bad things in his organization, or in his kingdom in this case. He got rid of all of the idol worship, got rid of all of the temples, knocked everything down that was there. Let's take a look at how he did that. 2 Kings 18:4 says, he removed the pagan shrines, smashed the sacred pillars, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke up the bronze serpent that Moses had made because the people of Israel had begun offering sacrifices to it. The bronze serpent was called Neshattan. So we can see that Hezekiah even went to the point of coming up against the people and what they wanted. He knew it was better for them to follow the ways of the Lord and to follow the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And so when he did that, when he put all these other things aside and focused on those one things, we can see that success started to come to him. So if we follow along with the policies and the procedures that are set before us, then we know that we can succeed, especially if the people over us are watching what we're doing. And believe me, they're watching exactly what you're doing. There's another group of people that are watching you as well, and those are your subordinates. You should be following all the rules and procedures so that they can see that they actually work, and you want to guide them through that process, and that's what we can do as good leaders. So what we can see then is that the success that Hezekiah had in his leadership in the Lord his God set him up for success. And we want to follow that same process as if we can. If I can show that I have confidence in the organization and the leadership that's there, then I know that I'm going to be able to follow along with the practices and the procedures. It's not only for the benefit of those underneath me, and it's not only benefit for my customers, it's also a benefit for you. Because when we follow along with these policies and procedures, guess what? we're going to start believing them. And if they're good policies, and if they're good procedures, and if they're ethically based and ethically sound, then we know that we can succeed because that is what has proven in the past. And that's what Hezekiah did. 2 Kings 18:5 says, Hezekiah trusted the Lord his God of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, either before or after his time. So Hezekiah was set aside. He made sure that he succeeded in the things that he was supposed to be doing. Hezekiah did a really, really good job in all of these things. But he did have one failure. Check this out. And it says, Hezekiah received the Babylonian envoys and showed them everything in his treasure house, the silver, the gold, the spices, and the aromatic oils. He also took them in to see his armory and showed them everything in his royal treasury. There is nothing in his palace or his kingdom that Hezekiah did not show them. So what happened was that Hezekiah got proud and he said, hey, check this out. He became a show-off. He began saying, look at all the things that I've gotten. He had all this tribute going on. He even invited in the Babylonians. You know who the Babylonians were in 3 kingdoms later? They were the ones who destroyed them. They came in and took all these things that he showed him. He showed off all these things, and his enemy came in and destroyed him because pride got in the way. What we want to do is make sure that pride does not do that. I want to give you the acronym PRIDE because it can help us to stay away from prideful actions. So the P in pride, we should see that it represents purpose. What is your purpose? If you can identify what your purpose is and actually pursue that sole purpose, then we know that you're not going to become prideful in the things that you're doing. Unless, of course, your purpose is to be prideful. And we want to make sure that we stay away from that. As far as ours go, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have responsibility to others first. If I lift others up, then I'm not going to be prideful. I'm going to be doing things for others. John Maxwell always encouraged us to find something that we can do for those underneath us. How am I helping others? What am I contributing to the world? If I can take that responsibility to put others first, then I know that I can succeed as a leader and I won't become prideful. The I stands for integrity. We want to make sure that we put integrity above all things in our lives. If I have integrity in everything that I do, then I'm not going to do the things that would lead to pride. And if I put the mission first, and if I have integrity to put the mission first, then I know that I can succeed where others have failed. What I want to do is I also want to become disciplined. If I can be disciplined, then I know that I'm not doing things for myself, but I'm doing things for the organization. I'm doing things for my subordinates. I'm doing things for others, and I'm not doing this for my own self-ego. And the last thing is that I want to do everything in excellence. I want to be really good at what I do, but I want to make sure that I'm doing these things so that others can follow this example. I'm doing these other things so that my organization can succeed. I'm doing these other things in excellence so that my team can succeed. I want to be the very best that I am, not for myself, but for others. And when I do this with other things, I know that I can be that successful. So let's take a look at some of the positive things and some of the negative things that King Hezekiah did as a leader. First of all is that he stayed focused on what the Lord told him to do. We want to make sure that we can stay focused on what the Lord calls us to do. His other success was that he succeeded in defending Judah from superior forces. And he did this through following proper procedures by staying true to the Lord or staying true to his organization. And he was able to do those things and stay focused on that, and he succeeded in that. We can also see that he failed in the fact that he became proud about the things that he had amassed around him. He began to become a show-off, and that led to his downfall. So we want to make sure that we don't do those things. So I want to ask you 2 quick questions. These questions can help us identify the best way for us to live our lives in a way that will really help us to become better leaders. Now, this first question is this: how do you stay humble? How do you keep yourself humble? How do you keep yourself in that place where you know that you can succeed in everything that you do? You want to stay humble in the things that the Lord has set before you, that the organization has set before you, in the task and the purposes that you have for everything. The second question that I have for you is what are some ways that you can successfully stay humble? So we want to make sure that we meet that humble requirement, but then I need to be able to stay there. We want to list those things so we can be that successful in everything that we do. So if you can take these tools and you can apply these things to your life, you can be that leader that God wants you to be. And I really encourage you to take these things, do something with them, and become that leader that God intended for you.